Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Jack Campbell and Taylor Decker pulled a Ryan today. They did not practice at all, but they should be good to go on Sunday. Yeah, Taylor Decker, Jack Campbell didn't practice. Terrion Arnold, according to reports, was a full participant. We are ready to participate in the Braylon Edwards Show. Glad you're with us. With the man. And then Ryan is back with us. And Kool-Aid is, of course, with us.
Ryan almost lost his job.
Did he really?
He almost lost his job to Haley. Haley came in here. She was ready to do business. She did a really good job, and she got a real big response from the crowd, man. I was looking for you to come in here and do your thing yesterday, and shocker. Nah, I'm just giving you guff.
Haley was going to be Lou Gehrig. You were going to be Wally Pipp. Do you know what that story is?
No.
You know who the Iron Horse is?
No.
Okay. Lou Gehrig had the record for most consecutive games played until Cal Ripken broke it.
Okay.
Right?
I know the Ripken.
Lou Gehrig was thrown in.
2,138?
Lou Gehrig was thrown into the Yankees lineup in favor of Wally Pipp because Wally Pipp was injured or sick. I forget which it was. Sorry, it's before my time.
He never saw the field again.
Must not have. And then Lou Gehrig never sat again until setting that record. All right? So you got to be careful. You don't want to get Wally pipped. When somebody says Wally pipped, you've been Wally pipped, that means you've been replaced. But glad you're back.
All right,
I like that shirt, too.
I will not get a Wally Pipp.
Okay.
I'm good now.
And I like that shirt because I like Lincoln Park. Glad you're with us on this Thursday.
Shout out. Just went to their concert last month.
Was it you saw them last month?
Yeah, last month at LCA.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. What's your favorite song by them?
I don't know.
Oh,
a great
mine
question.
tweeted out.
I wouldn't.
It's easy for me, man.
Is it really? What is it? I got to look at my phone.
Mine's Bleed It Out.
What's the song from Transformers?
Oh,
In this farewell.
Oh, I know it. It's not New Divide.
That's a
I know it though.
Collision something?
I'll let you know.
I don't think
That's
it's
Jay-Z,
Collision.
Linkin Park. But I like when they did Numb, the remix with Jay-Z. That was dope.
That was a good one.
100%. The Divide. Is it
Yeah,
Great Divide?
No,
yeah,
it's
the
not.
Divide.
I
That's
thought
it.
it was New Divide. It's What I've Done. What I've done.
What I've done.
What I've done.
New Divide is the one from Transformers. What I've done is like one of their bigger hits. I know a little bit. Hey, look,
A little bit. Yeah, that's good.
For all those that hate on Linkin Park, look, see me in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? You can't if you can't whoop me, then I can like who I like.
You like who you like no matter what, as far as I'm concerned.
But I got these hands. I just want to throw that out there. I got these hands.
And you got those muscles, and you got that speed, and you got that quickness. We are quick to judge football, that's for certain. We're quick to judge the Lions. That
Must
was for
win.
certain, too.
Must win.
Must win.
Must
Yeah.
win. Everything's a must win. The Bears must win. The Lions must win. I heard something they're talking about Michigan must win. Who was another NFL team? Oh, they must get a win. If the that's what it was. If the Kansas City Chiefs, if they don't get this win against the Eagles, it's a must win. Ladies and gentlemen, pump the brakes. Everything is not a must-win. Every game is not a must-win. It is still week 2 for a lot of these teams in college football. It's week 3. Pipe down. There are now 12 playoff teams in college football. It's not a must-win for Notre Dame. Relax.
Well, okay. Fans are very emotional. I try to keep that in mind. You're preaching to them to relax and understand, and I think you're 100% right. How come we don't do that with guys who actually played the flipping game? All right, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
And Woodward Sports, if you don't follow us on social media, you have to. Woodward Sports Network is outstanding with its social media. Sent this out from a 4-letter network that, I try not to watch too much. It's monotonous and it's ridiculous, but whatever.
You don't like all the yelling? You don't enjoy the yelling? You didn't enjoy the same topics regurgitated? LeBron James, the Dallas Cowboys?
Thank you.
You don't like these
The
topics?
New York Yankees?
Is
Did he
Jalen
just bring
Hurts
up
a
LeBron
serviceable
James
quarterback?
to
Can he
show?
lead you to a Super Bowl?
Right.
Same freaking topics.
Every single time.
Every year.
When
You don't
in
want the
doubt,
king, Shep?
it is here. I licked the stamp. Let me mail
Here
it
it
in
comes.
right now. I got an idea. What do you want to talk about?
Micah
Let's
Parsons.
talk about LeBron James. Let's talk about Micah Parsons.
100%.
Let's talk about if Aaron Boone should be fired. It's the
you
same
go.
crap, but I mean, we got to get used to it, I suppose.
True.
But Louis Riddick was in a front office.
This is
Jeff-
someone I respect, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, but to a certain extent, I agree. I mean, I think at least he's the same. I think that place changes people. I do. Ryan Clark was similar to that. Now he's just completely off the reservation. It's unbelievable what has happened
He's
to him.
someone that I admire from afar, Shep, just in this sense. Is when he was playing in the NFL, when I would get free time, when I would get my bye weeks, when I would get a little extra time here or there, I was not going to Bristol and interning. I wasn't going to that place and getting better and hone my craft and, work on what I potentially want to work on in the future. So when he finished and instantly transitioned, because you watched him, I respected that Ryan Clark. I respected the work that he was doing, to
Same.
your point. I saw the journey. I saw what he was doing. I appreciated the insight. And he didn't really have an ego when he was doing it. Insert the money, insert the pivot, insert all those
The
things,
different
insert
programs,
the ego.
yeah.
And now he is a completely different person when he's on the TV. I agree with you 100%.
Painful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyone who comes out and says Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees weren't generational quarterbacks, but Patrick Mahomes is. I mean, you're a jackass, okay? I mean, knock it off. But anyway, I do like Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick, Jeff Saturday, both of them today. And this is, again, Woodward Sports Network. Follow us on Twitter right there, Woodward Sports, okay? How long does Dan Campbell go with John Morton calling plays if you're averaging 2 yards running and 3 yards passing? If John Morton doesn't get them going, Dan Campbell will be calling plays very soon. Now, they haven't identified what very soon is. Okay? If very soon means within the first 5 weeks, then perhaps they're not that far off base. I don't know what the definition is. But when we talk about fans overreacting, talk show hosts overreacting, we need those men who played this sport at the highest level to bring us back down to earth. They're not doing it. I get it if it's a loudmouth like me or a loudmouth like somebody else who's on TV 24 hours a day, and you don't have to know. I don't have to tell you who that is. I don't need someone screaming in a microphone and a television to tell me that. But I do need those who've been there, done that, to say, it's one flipping game, chill.
It is one flipping game. It wasn't, we talked about this yesterday, it was not a good-looking performance, but it is one game. It's the first game of the season. You guys didn't play in the preseason. And you have a very important offensive line deal where you just have to watch. You have to watch it grow. You have to watch it mature. Tate Ratledge will be a better version of himself. He will get better this week. Graham Glasgow as the center. Hank Fraley, who also played center, he's not just an offensive line coach. He was a center by trade. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Cleveland Browns, of which we shared the same team. He's going to get Graham Glasgow ready for this game. Graham Glasgow will not rate a 47 or whatever the hell he rated last week. He's not going to rate that same thing. I think Christian Mahogany will be better. You have to take a step and allow them to get better. The Lions will get better this week. It will look a lot different. But, I think it's just coming off the game and how it will look. Everybody wants it to look a certain way. Everybody is very interested in, there's no Ben Johnson, insert Johnny Morton. They tell us he was there in 2022. What's that going to look like? The emphasis on that offense on Sunday is we want to see something. We want to see a drive that looks like the Chicago Bears opening drive. And they didn't get that. But it's also not just the offensive coordinator, because Jared Goff, if he doesn't have time, then he can't get the pass plays off that Johnny Morton has called. And some of those being good plays. And how do we know they were good plays? Because Jared Goff missed some first downs. Jared Goff missed some plays, and those plays were called by, you guessed it, Johnny Morton. So we got to slow down and see what the Chicago Bears games looks like. This will be a bigger test. How do they correct the things that they were not good at this past Sunday? How do they look on that opening drive when the offense gets the ball? How does it look in the fourth quarter? So, pipe down, People get better. You need game ones, and obviously they didn't play in the preseason. And although we don't like it, Dan Campbell told us, man, maybe I should have played these guys in the preseason. Yes, you should have. But he admits it. He's moved on from it. I think it will be a better showing this week.
John Morton said the run game is an easy fix.
Yeah.
An easy fix.
I agree because
what do you think he means by that?
Run game is attitude. Like the run game is attitude. The offensive lineman getting to the second level. The offensive lineman getting a hat on a hat. The guys in front of them, physicality. Look, we are going to run the ball. We want to run the ball. I have to block my man. It's an attitude, and they didn't have that attitude this past Sunday. They were getting blown off the ball. The Green Bay Packers were getting in the backfield, whether it was a run press or whether it was a pass pro. They still were getting in the backfield. It's an attitude. They didn't have the attitude. One thing Coach always told me, it's my little league coach, Coach Haddon. I'm not gonna say shout out because he was a real asshole, but you know what I'm saying. He was. He called me all type of names. I was like, do I even want to play football? I thought I was a wide receiver. I didn't know wide receivers was BITCHs. I didn't know that's what it was. But
you don't have to spell it if you're gonna say asshole. You can say bitches too. You know.
Well, there it is. Thank you to my co-host, my man Shep. But he said at the end of the day,
He's still
real.
going.
I appreciate it, Shep. I appreciate it. But he said, you don't let no man punk you. You don't let any man punk you. And the biggest position that's valid is the offensive line, is the defensive line, is the trenches. And they look like they got punked a little bit. That's why it's fixable. Because that's an attitude thing. It's an attitude thing. So I think that's more so what he means. And then also it's a communication thing. Some of those communication areas where you see guys wide open on the goal line, in the hole, most notably, that's communication. That's getting the call, getting the protection, getting the slide, getting ready, and on time. Getting it ready on time where you have a second to fix those plays, not trying to get it done. And now 3, 2, 1, we got to snap or we got to take a penalty and guys aren't ready. So communication and then effort. That you don't have to be a first rounder to have effort. You don't have to be a $35 million player to have effort.
Taylor Decker told us yesterday that he and Tate Ratledge ran on that goal line play you're referring to. They both ran one play. The other 3 offensive linemen ran another. I don't know who's at fault. It shouldn't matter who's at fault, but one group is. How does something like that happen? That's the question a lot of people got to me last night and asked. How does something like that happen?
It's communication.
Yeah.
Going from Jared Goff to Graham Glasgow, not getting to the left side or the right side. That's a lot of thought process. That's, oh shoot, there's all this going on, and then you forget a play, you forget a thing, you forget a part of you forget a step. Every play has steps. All right, cool. Listen in the huddle. That's a step. Get to the huddle. Remember I have to do slide protection, give the call, this, that, and the third. Make sure I communicate. That's a step. Watching post-snap, that's a step. And I think a couple of those steps were missed in there, and I think you dial it back in this week. I think you don't gloss over the small things. Sometimes, and this is because they've had success in the past. This is because they won 15 games last year. This is because they went to the NFC game 2 years ago. You gloss over some of the small things because you think your guys got it, because you know your guys have been there. But the guys are different. And some of those assumptions you made, they came like to bite you in the butt this past Sunday. No assumptions.
Yeah, there's some pretty intense language from Kelvin Shepard, which I think every Lions fan will embrace. Yeah. We'll get to that coming up. This came from, I want to give credit where credit is due, Al Karsten, his Twitter handle, 4-man pass rush defensive success rate leaders from week 1. Okay? You ready, Kool-Aid? Week 1. The teams. He's got, where do you think the Lions rank? 4-man pass rush defensive success rate. So they're rushing with 4 and they're getting home. What do you think it is? It's based off Pro Football Focus.
I know the answer, so I'll be quiet.
The answer.
And he said it's out of the entire NFL.
Entire NFL, all right? Just to give you an idea, Denver is number 1. Where do you think, watching the Lions and Packers game, what would you think Detroit ranks?
Oh, goodness. I would say to be kind, 20th.
20th, Ryan?
I'm going to say bottom 5.
You're close.
Yeah.
You're close, Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, you're pretty close.
Tell him, Braylon.
Second.
Second.
You were close. You just had to drop the zero.
I
I
was
Second?
Second.
Yeah, second.
Wow.
So when
I was
Denver,
confused on that one.
and when Denver, Detroit, Washington,
Wow.
Philly, Chicago, Atlanta, then Green Bay. Who would have figured that? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But you've always said, those types of numbers, especially with Pro Football Focus and Next Gen Stats, they can be slightly misleading. You buy that? You buy that they would be 2? Because I was there. I didn't see that. I didn't see that type of 4-man success rate.
I definitely think numbers are skewed sometimes. I think in this situation, they definitely didn't perform like a 2. The numbers indicate that they are a 2. Second half, they struggled. Talking about the Green Bay Packers, they struggled a little bit on offense, whether you want to give the credit to Kelvin Shepard kind of settling in as a defensive coordinator in the Lions, kind of making some plays. Although they were taken back, there were some plays made in that second half by the Detroit Lions. So I think Green Bay kind of took their foot off the gas. Kind of the same similar situation that you saw with I don't want to say this and people like, nah, they didn't take their foot off the gas. The Lions, they really dialed it in. I think Matt LaFleur's and the Green Bay Packers, they saw what the Lions were, and they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit in that second half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why would a team do that?
Because they don't believe in. You don't believe in the team that you're playing against.
Wow.
Like,
That stuns me. I would not have guessed that.
well, the way the Lions played stunned me. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, that's true. I hear that. The name that is there's 2 names and probably 2 stories that most Detroit football fans are getting really tired of. We'll get to one coming up because he's coming back on Sunday. The other,
ZS.
and it's nothing against him. There is nothing against him, okay? But remember last year, everybody was convinced, including yours truly, that he really liked it here. Remember how the Lions treated him. I hope people do recall that. Well, Zadarius Smith said this to the Philadelphia Eagles, all right? He said why he signed there. I just felt comfortable with this team because they lost a veteran leader last year in BG. That's Brandon Graham, friend of yours,
100%.
right? Excellent player.
Go Blue.
It was a great opportunity, great fit for me to come here and basically do what I do and help the younger guys. And when people asked, is this it? He says, obviously no. He says, I got a lot left, and so on and so forth. The thing that I'm getting at here is I think Detroit has turned out to be the bad guy in this whole situation. The Lions have.
Right.
Brad Holmes must have had a problem with him. He doesn't want to spend the money, blah, 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 blah. I think people have a tendency to forget. As soon as they traded for Zadarius Smith last year, because he was on a bye week and he wanted to see his family and didn't get a chance to see them while he was in Cleveland, they let him take that bye week.
Yeah.
All right? It wasn't Detroit's bye week.
And
it was Cleveland's bye week.
And Detroit could have used him that game because who did they play? The Houston Texans, which they were getting mopped.
Correct.
Until the end.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, to his credit, he was on the sideline. He was engaged. He was talking with all these guys. And it was an awesome sight.
Yeah.
But we act like something happened. They don't like him. Why is this going on? Detroit is stupid. They should have done something, so on and so forth. Our position, I think, collectively has been they should have done something at the position. It doesn't have to be him.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to reinforce and let people remember that if this is the way you treat people, the way they treated him when he first got here, even though they didn't know him all that well,
right,
was a classy move. And I think that's really important to remember that because they're getting a lot of heat for not signing him. Some of it is justified because Howie Roseman, like, how many people know general managers? Like,
yeah,
Baltimore's good. Does anybody know Eric DeCosta? Do you know him? He's their general manager. We don't know GMs. We know our GMs. Everybody knows Steve. Well, Steve Eisenman's a bad example. People know Scott Harris, right? People know Scott Harris. People know Brad Holmes. Okay.
You only know the GM if the GM has a name. And like, I'll give you an example. You know who John Lynch is, not because he's a GM. You know John Lynch is a Hall of Fame football player that happens to be.
That's right.
The GM.
100%. Yeah. And he did a really good job when he got there. People know Howie Roseman because of they just won a Super Bowl and his success, and because he's doing things that we collectively as Lions fans want Brad Holmes to do.
Yeah. 100%. And also, too, he has the track record. You look at what he did and how he built it to the Super Bowl that they won initially with Nick Foles and how that played out and how that rested, the moves that they went. They went and got Alshon Jeffries from the Chicago Bears so that they have a big wideout. And it paid dividends in the Super Bowl. And then you continue it because that's 2017. And then you make the Super Bowl again in 23 with a bunch of good moves, a bunch of good draft picks. And now you duplicate that again in 24. The only difference is you win. You win it all. So, yeah, that's who you want to be.
Yeah. We knew Ozzie Newsome was an awesome dude. And he was an incredible general
Cleveland
manager.
Browns tight end as well as Baltimore Ravens GM.
Yeah, and I remember meeting him in Cleveland and asking him, hey, do you have a moment? Wanted to pick your brain on a few things, quarterbacks, draft philosophy. Yeah. He didn't know me at all. I was just there to call a preseason game on TV for the Lions and the Browns, and he was so kind and really enjoyed it. People remember him because of their success, but also because he was an unbelievable tight end. I mean, he's a great tight end. He really was.
He's Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's Hall of Famer. But I don't think anybody is going to like. Who knows Les Snead? Who's no Brett Veach? Veach is with Kansas City. Snead is with the Rams. So I mean, you know them because you're a football lifer and you're in there.
People know Snead because he famously, notorious, he came out and said what? F them picks. And he gave you something to remember him by. Now, to Veach, you probably won't know Veach unless you, like you said, you know Bob. When you look at a team win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years, you better figure out who that GM was, realistically. I think what this Zadarius Smith thing is, look, he's not a game record. There's nothing about what he did last year for the Detroit Lions where I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Thank God we got him for the Cleveland Browns. Thank God we got him on their right side. He is a record. We have to pay that man. Nothing about his performance last year was that. What it was this is a guy that you know is going to get you some sacks here and there. Mm-hmm. This is a guy you know if you put him in there, he'll be serviceable. And he's not just a body that you're throwing in there like, here's a guy for $2 million and we're going to throw him in there. No, this is a guy that is pretty good. This is a guy that can make some things happen from time to time. So that's where we were with that. I would be interested to see what happens in these rooms with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell when these players don't come back. Because everybody's all golden and everybody's good when they're here. But then something goes wrong, whether it's Carlton Davis, whether it's Darius Smith, whether it's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, there's always something. And then Detroit comes out to be the bad guy in those situations. And they go to social media or they turn to some spots. I want to know what happens because it's an interesting deal. With the Zadarius Smith, I wish it would have worked out.
Yeah.
Not because I think he would have had 12 sacks opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, just because he knew the system and that part you talk about. Yes, the Detroit Lions did give him that time off, which was special. And when a team does something like that, you tend not to jump on them when you see things like this. Like, oh, my God, I can't believe the Lions did that. Nah, I saw that moment what they did for Zadarius Smith. Let me get some more information before I come out and judge them 100%. But with that being said, it is interesting.
He is a good player. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a good player. He's going to help Philadelphia. I'll be very interested to look up the percentage of snaps he plays, since you and I have talked about this a lot.
That happened last year with the Lions. He started off at, I think he started with 70%, 75%, 68%. In the last 2 games, he was like 52% of the snaps. In the last game, it was 47% of the snaps. So something happened.
Wow.
With what they saw his production, what they saw in his play. They noticed something, and he got less and less. And just think about that, though. He got less snaps in those last 2-3 games. What do we need most at the end of the year? Yeah. We needed a rush in off that right side, and he got less snaps. That's something interesting.
Yeah, I wonder why that would be. Because that, to me, is pretty interesting. To your point, on the year for Detroit, he played 60% of the snaps overall. Which for a defensive end, I suppose, is pretty good. Now, Aiden Hutchinson's closer to 90, so probably not. But it is something that I'm going to probably monitor. My guess is Lions fans are going to follow, just like they did with the Rams and Matthew Stafford. They're going to follow how well Ben Johnson and the Bears do, and they're going to follow Zadarius Smith's sack total.
I'm glad you brought that up because I got a big question to ask the people in the chat today. First of all, how you guys doing? Thanks for always joining the show. Braylon Edwards with Shep, man. We love having you guys in, man. It makes the show go smooth. We come up with these topics for you. One of the big topics is, why don't people like ... However, they do like and support ... We'll come back from break with that one.
Ooh, that's a professional tease.
It is. It's a professional tease.
Vin Johnson would greatly appreciate that.
They don't tease. When crisis hits, don't panic. Let Vin fight for you. Let me take you through it. It's VEN. That's Vin. You know what it is? Step one is verify. You got to verify. You get those details together. Get them to Vin Johnson. Make sure you got all the information. Because when you come to Vin, we don't want you half-stepping. Ain't no half-stepping over here. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Step two, engage. Call your attorney. You got to call the guy that you want to represent you, and that's the guy on the screen. And if you can't see, I'll tell you, it's Vin Johnson at Vin Johnson Law. And then last is notify. Notify. Let your insurance know what is going on. You got to keep them in the loop. I know nobody wants to talk to insurance agents. You hate it. You put it off. You talk to them. That's what Vin told you, so that's what you do. Vin is the fighter. You want him to fight for you. To learn more, go to VinJohnsonLaw.com.
New sponsor alert.
Oh,
Hey,
man. See
RJ.
look at how
Family's
good that
getting bigger.
food looks. I love talking about good food. I love talking about good places. You and I are simpatico here, man. It's all about the atmosphere and the food together and the people you're sharing it with. There's no better place to get in on the action than Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill. You see that food? That's just a taste. Just a taste. You can go to any one of their 6
Mouth-watering,
locations
bro.
throughout the great state of Michigan. Wall-to-wall coverage. We're talking about 80 TVs, okay? More than 80 TVs. If you're picky about your beer or you like to experiment about your beer, they've got it for you because they've got 22 draft beers on tap alone, plus a menu stacked with all that yummy, good-looking stuff right there that makes us all really hungry. They've got great daily specials, too. Rib nights on Mondays. Sounds good? Yes? Thumbs up. Fajitas and margaritas on Wednesdays.
5.
My daughter would love that. $3.50 Lions Edition Bud Light with 16-ounce aluminum bottles and $5 neutral 12-ounce cans every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. They've got something for you every single night. Food, drink, good times, and any game you want to watch, it'll be there. Download the Art and Jake's app. Join AJ's fan club and make every day a winning day.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shaq Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Change the routine however many times you want to. It doesn't matter, but Planet Fitness still wants you to come in. There's no judgment at Planet Fitness. I change my routine all the time. But it doesn't matter if you're somebody that's used to lifting weights and have a routine or you don't. You're trying to figure it out. They got people on staff for you. That's what the trainers are. There's no judgment at Planet Fitness. And there's over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. So you can work out everywhere. Get yourself in shape. Feel good. Feel great. Mental health as well as physical health. Planet Fitness is where you should do it at. And also the gyms are squeaky clean. I never talk about the Aqua Hydro massage chairs, but I'm going to talk about the Aqua Hydro massage chairs. You get that black card, just a little bit much. You don't need the black card because they do have a fitness package that fits into your budget. But if you want to take advantage, get that black card, sit in those Aqua Hydro massage chairs after the workout, nice and relaxing. You feel all oozy smooth and zen-like. Zen-like. Oozy smooth. You know what I'm saying? I made that on the spot. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is oozy smooth.
That is awesome. While Braylon and I, during a lot of commercial breaks, we like to watch certain sporting events, so we're watching a little golf because we both like golf. And when we're on the course,
Tiger's better.
What's that? Tiger's
better.
Yeah, it's the Tiger Jack routine. But the really cool thing about it is when you're on the golf course, or whether you're watching a game, or whether you're just hanging out with friends, Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea is really, really smooth. It's really crisp. It's easy to sip. It's easy to chug if you want to because it's real vodka, real iced tea, no bubbles, clean and crisp, and only 100 calories and 4.5% alcohol. It's perfect for golf. It's perfect for tailgates. It's perfect for just hanging around. You're back from a long day of work. This is the thing to drink right here. Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. So this season, let the good times cruise. Sun Cruise and Woodward Sports. And please drink responsibly.
Hey, and we back.
Please drink responsibly. It can get you in trouble.
I did look that up, Ryan. Wally Pipp, the rumor was that he had a headache and he was replaced, and then the rest is history. So now you know, in the words of Paul Harvey,
it's a long headache.
No headache.
The rest of the story.
No headache. Long headache.
He actually did play as a DH in the next game, but he won, and then Lou Gehrig eventually would be a DH. Yeah. So just wanted to complete that story. All right. So there's a couple of things that are bothering me just a little bit. We talk a little bit about overreaction. A lot about overreaction for the Lions. Well, we are not the only ones, and the ex-athletes are not the only ones. Read an article earlier today in The Athletic. You ready? NFL's biggest playoff risers and fallers from week one. Which teams rose the most to jump into the playoff conversation? Who dropped the most to fall out of the playoff conversation? The largest change for the good, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I knew it was going to be the Raiders.
Before week one, it was at 21%. Now, playoff chances at 40%. Again, we're talking about after week one. This is how ridiculous things can be.
I did say that was going to be the best division in football.
I know you did.
I did say that.
Yeah, and the Chargers are right behind them, by the way. You know? The worst, here are some of the teams that have gone the worst percentage. Panthers, Titans, Cowboys, Texans, Seahawks, Patriots, who I thought would be better, but again, it's only one game.
Yeah.
Falcons, who you picked in week one. Dolphins, Chiefs.
I picked the Bucks.
You sure about that?
I'm a Baker Mayfield guy.
I'm pretty sure. I thought for sure you picked the
Baker.
Falcons because you.
The only Falcons was you.
Didn't you think the Falcons were going to win that division?
You said
I didn't pick the
Bucks.
I was a
You
Bucks
did?
guy. I think I was Bucks.
I'm definitely.
I was Bucks too. I know that.
Somebody was.
Maybe we picked the Falcons. Maybe I picked the Falcons to win that game, though.
Yeah, I definitely picked
maybe
the Bucks.
that was it. All right.
I like Baker Mayfield.
It's okay.
Yeah, my apology.
It's okay.
The Lions are the worst.
Yeah.
That's what they have. They have fallen.
Nobody with no parts of the Falcons.
The first. No, I know. Except for Bijan Robinson, I'll take him. The Lions have fallen further than anybody. Prior to the season, they were at 73%. Now, after week 1, they're at 47%. So they've dropped 26 percentage points. No one has dropped further. Is it an overreaction or does it make sense? They write that it makes sense.
Okay.
I'll give you the reasoning here in a moment, but do you think it's an overreaction or it makes sense that someone would panic that severely?
Okay, I got to be political and smooth at the same time.
Nah, it's just stand on business, bro.
It does make sense. It does make sense if you're going to make weekly rankings. If you're going to make weekly rankings on who's up, who's down, who's trending, who's green, who's red, and you want to have some fun, yeah, it makes sense that you thought this team coming to the season, they were going to hit their stride. This is a team now how they finished last year. It's still the same coach. Still have a lot of the same weapons, a lot of all-pro weapons. Some all-pro, some pro bowlers. They're going to take that step. They're going to realize how that season ended. They're going to come out and dispel all the myths about the offensive play calling, this, that, and the third. They'll take a step. They're playing against the Packers. This should look like it should look different. When you watch that product, now, I know you gave me the stats about them finishing second in terms of 4-player rushes and things of that nature. Once again, it's a feel thing. And the Lions didn't feel like a team that was going to finish first in the NFC North. They didn't even look like a team that would finish second in the NFC North, just playing the devil's advocate side. So for someone that does a weekly ranking and they to talk about the Lions have dropped, sure. If you want to get your jollies off and have fun by ranking week by week, and this is what you saw, 100% I could say that they should be the team that took the largest step because they, although they were the Lions, although they were the reigning NFC winners in terms of the regular season, all that, there were a lot of questions, and none of those questions got answered this past Sunday.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I understand it. But don't tell me about people's history or background ever again then. Because you're not taking what they have done into that equation.
Right.
Because everybody has bad games, and I'm not making excuses for them. But when I hear, well, I like this guy because he's done it before. Well, the Lions are chock full of guys
talking about
who've done it before. I'm talking about anybody.
Okay.
The Lions are chock full of guys who have done it before. Here's the reasoning for it. They said their offense did not resemble the well-oiled machine that was under ex-offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. That's fair.
Yeah.
Expected.
Did the Bears look all that great under Ben Johnson outside the first drive?
No.
Was there something there that I'm missing that makes me go, holy crap, I'm really
Did the Lions look like themselves under Ben Johnson the first few weeks of last season, or did Dan Campbell step to the podium and Ben Johnson and say, it may take us a few weeks based off of what we know they do? Their starters aren't playing during preseason.
I was thinking you were going to say a couple years ago. A couple years ago, they started 1-6, okay, if you recall.
Yeah.
And then they snapped out of it after the 1-6 by beating Green Bay and scoring a whopping 15 points. Woo! Okay, there's Ben Johnson for you. Okay, no, I'm saying I like him and I respect him. Don't take this out of context, but I'm just telling you that's the way it started. Now the Lions can't start that way, and the difference between then and now is what? Expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 years, the Lions have started off 1-1 to start the year. Lost to the Bucs in week 2, and they lost to Seattle in week 2, and they got to go in.
And the offense didn't look good.
Braylon brought that up
picks
yesterday
against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yes, I'm saying. Like, and you know, Ben Johnson wasn't the offensive coordinator then, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like the overreaction to this right now.
Yeah.
After we saw this team overcome a lot of odds last year, that's one where even with Brad Holmes, I could be mad at him. But the last time I really got pissed at this edge thing, they won 2 games.
What were the odds that they overcame? I'm sorry.
The injuries?
The injuries last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, at the end. Okay. I thought maybe you were going to say overcame a 5-interception day.
They did.
Overcame a loss to Tampa with a bounce back. I get it. Yeah. Okay. But you're right. I see what your injury is referring to.
I'm not going to overreact, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a big conversation on Monday if it looks like it did this past week or if it looks anywhere like it. Like we keep talking about what they've overcome before. Yeah, they overcame it in 2024. They started off, bad. And you look at the stats right here against the Rams last year. Jared Goff, 18-28, 217, a touchdown and a pick. Like, it wasn't great, but Dave Montgomery had 90 yards rushing. Jahmyr Gibbs had 40 yards rushing. Jahmyr Gibbs also had 40 yards receiving. Like, it looked a little bit different. And the guys that got him out of that, the guys that helped him in the 5-turnover game, the 5-interception game by Jared Goff, Ben Johnson was still on that sideline, still knowing what to dial up at the right time. And I think that's the thing that we're trying to figure out.
Defense was pretty good that day, too.
They starting in the second half. Dan Campbell's doing the interception. I mean, the conversation, it's a delayed play, gets the interception as he's doing the interview. That's what you want. The defense showed up. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, and even the defensive line as being coached by Zadarius Smith, who we're talking about right now. But, excuse me. I should have stepped away from the microphone on that. But those guys aren't here. It's not the same team. Like, it's not the same offensive line. It's not the same coaching staff. So that's why, although I'm patient, this is going to be a really big game because this is a different conversation on Monday. This is not the same squad. So can Johnny Moe get Jared Goff to a position where he's more comfortable? Can they change the play count? Can they establish a run? What does the offensive line look like this week against the Chicago Bears, who are not by any means weak at the defensive line position?
So help me with this.
Yeah.
And it's not that I disagree with that. They write in the article, quarterback Jared Goff logged the 4th highest average time to throw, which ranked only behind Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, and Caleb Williams. So for reference, they write in The Athletic, Goff finished 20th out of 36 qualified quarterbacks in average time to throw last year. This year, after one game, he had time to throw. Now, we didn't think that. Those numbers kind of are a little strange. I just got done telling you about the 4-man rush.
Right.
Green Bay ranked 7th. Detroit ranked 2nd. Here, they're telling us that Goff ranked 4th with time to throw. Is that on Goff? Is that on Morton? Is that on the receivers for not being able to get open?
I don't know. It's not the receivers getting open because Amon-Ra St. Brown was open in the game, and so was Jameson Williams a couple of times. But I don't understand the numbers. I don't understand the stats. I feel like this is fool's gold. Okay. I feel like they're giving you because Jared Goff had 30 completions, which 30 of them were behind the line of scrimmage. So I think somehow this stat is, they're mixing him getting rid of the pass, of being a successful completion. Now let's add that to the time he had, because with the time he had, he made a successful completion. Like, I don't know how much of it is that versus actually being able to drop back in a 5-step drop set to be able to get the ball down the field 15 to 20 yards, because that didn't happen. Now, if you want to tell me he got the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs 10 times to 35 yards, congratulations. Like, I'm tired of people mentioning that. That's horrible. The fact that he kept throwing him the ball, well, he took what he gave him. He better figure it out, because there was some times where Jameson Williams was open on that backside. There were some times where Amon-Ra St. Brown was actually open on the back dig route, and I saw Sam Laporta. So if you want to have that conversation that he had more time than we think, then Jared Goff has got to be better. And he's another part of that caveat. Going into this season, we said, is it Jared Goff or is it Ben Johnson? Is it Sean McVay or is it Jared Goff? Jared, like, who are you without these geniuses, if you will? Can you make the throws? Can you make the plays? Can you? You know what? It breaks down. Protection breaks down. My first read isn't there. I got to find a way to make a play. Can you be that guy for the Lions this year?
This is a really good debate, though. Why is it that Jared Goff almost gets handicapped because he's with quote-unquote offensive geniuses and others don't? So we never say that about certain other quarterbacks who have had unbelievable offensive minds. Bill Walsh was an offensive genius. Right. Andy Reid is a borderline offensive genius. Right. Okay, and I don't know how much Alex Smith gives to Andy Reid. I don't know how much Patrick Mahomes gives to Andy Reid. But it seems like there's a lot of people who are almost holding that against Jared Goff. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's still the one making the reads. He's still the one making the throws. He's still the one finding those tight windows in order to be successful. Yeah. Why are we giving so much credit to somebody who's calling the play instead of the guy who's executing the play?
Because when you're executing a play in which is wide open, it's much different than you going out there and doing some Josh Allen crazy SHIT and making plays happen. Like, Jared Goff is not doing that. And we've known that. Even when he got the $53 million, we were excited he got it because behind that offensive line, he was that $53 million quarterback. With this current offense, whether it was more him or Ben Johnson, I really don't care. Behind that, He was a $53 million quarterback. We knew going into this season, like we knew going into the last season, like we knew when he first got here, there were shortcomings and mishaps in his game, things that he wasn't strong at. And that's why they tried to provide him with the system so he'd be a better version of himself. And he was. But when you don't have that system, at least it appears in game one, the offensive line and trying to figure out some things. More is on Jared Goff, and we know he's not a more quarterback. So this isn't a new conversation. This is it just coming back to the forefront because you no longer have that system in play that not protected him because he was doing his thing too, like you said. But he no longer has that system in play into which he was actually great, to which he was actually that guy. Same thing happened kind of when Todd Gurley kind of fell off in Los Angeles. So did Jared Goff.
Yeah, it seems a little strange that we're willing to give Ben Johnson a little bit of leash there, a little bit of leeway when they start 1 for 6 a few years ago, but Jared Goff is the guy who's to blame for it because he's saddled with wins or losses in Pro Football Reference. I don't think we're consistent with the argument. I don't know many quarterbacks in the history of the sport who've ever been elite or at least top 10, let's put it that way, in a specific year, unless they've had a pretty good offensive line and pretty good weapons. Like, nobody holds that against Joe Burrow last year. Oh, you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have a pretty good running game, you got a really good offensive play caller. But it's all about Joe Burrow. And I'm not saying Jared Goff's better than Joe Burrow. Please don't think that. I'm just saying the association is not there.
That's sneaky, though. Don't do that. I don't like that in the sense of this. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl with the worst offensive line I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen an offensive line make the Super Bowl that looked like that Cincinnati Bengals did in 2022. He still got to the Super Bowl. And barring 2 plays, would have won that Super Bowl with that offensive line. That's what Joe Burrow did. So I don't care about Jamar Chase and all those other guys because when he didn't have an offensive line, when the Cincinnati Bengals front office tried to handicap him and maybe get him hurt yet again in year 2, year 3, he rose to the occasion. So you got to take him out the conversation.
Well, how good was Jared Goff's offensive line when the Rams went to the Super Bowl? If you see Andrew Whitworth, I mean, that dude was 40-plus years old, okay? He's still a good player.
Not when Goff went. He was 40 when the Stafford went.
Oh, when Stafford went.
He wasn't 40. He still was,
that's right.
He had a little bit of – so he wasn't that long in the tooth around that time.
He's still an older offensive line, okay?
We're having a conversation that's really not even a conversation. It's just the truth. Like Jared Goff with one thing is one thing. Jared Goff with another thing is another thing. And until they figure out that offensive line, until they figure out how to stoutly protect him and maybe get the ball in some other places, you know what I'm saying, ease into the system for the season, this is what he does.
I get it, but you're making it sound as if Jared Goff can't have success unless he has a great offensive line and weapons around him.
Jared Goff was like an afterthought 4 or 5 years ago. Insert Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Ben Johnson, and the system. And now he's come back into his own like he did when he was playing for Sean McVay, Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, and that offensive line that went to Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. Like, so I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying it looks familiar is what I'm saying. Okay. Like, it looks familiar.
Love your feedback in the chat. Feel free to join us and let us know what you think is right, wrong, your feelings, anything like that. We know what's right when it comes to cars. Les Stanford, Buick GMC, fantastic people who want to take care of you and have some inventory for you can just peruse and see some beautiful rides. We're talking about colors. We're talking about interior. We're talking about all kinds of different opportunities for you. Yeah, get a 2025 Hummer EV SUT lease special, $599 a month plus tax.
What?
$599 a month.
What? They dropped that price.
Or
that's a clean Hummer too. $599. You sure?
You could try out the 2025 Lyric SUV lease special, $489
Trade
a
my
month.
truck in.
There you go, right there.
$599.
Don't forget the Equinox. My daughter just got one of those, an Equinox EV lease special, only $229 a month. I don't know where you think you're going to get better deals than this. They're just not out there. Massive inventory for you. Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. Check out their website, lesstanford.com.
Tell you like this, man. When Jared Goff has a clean pocket, he can get the ball down the field. He can be the quarterback that you're seeing. You know who else can keep you clean? Shaq's Car Wash, man. WSN 888-522-1729. Text that to that number, and you get a chance to get a free car wash with over 40 locations around the state. Jack's is the car wash for you. It's a beautiful day right now. Don't you wish you had a car wash from Jack's? Well, pull up. The best thing about it, too, is you can get the $29.99 unlimited plan. I'm talking about car washes all month long and rolls over to the next month and the next month and the next month. $29.99 a month. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Car wash is $20, ladies and gentlemen. A car wash is $20 if you get the best one. And then you got to tip with the $5 on the side. That's $25 experience. Add $5 and you can do that all month. Jack's Car Wash, the place to be.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shaq Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone. Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports. So, you're a Detroit sports fan, huh? Well then, make sure you subscribe to all the Woodward sports pages on YouTube. We have Woodward Baseball, Woodward Pistons, and of course, Woodward Hockey. Get breakdowns, updates, and bonus coverage of all things Detroit. So pick your favorite sport and follow along with the best Detroit sports coverage ever made. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Dr. Pierce, the Injury Insider, we will see him in about 45 minutes, man. 248-426-9944. That is the number to call, or you can scan the QR code above my head. Actually, I got Doc coming in, man. Take a look at my rotator cuff. I'm telling you, he can diagnose anything. He will get you back to where you want to be. He will get you in your playing conditions, or he'll get you ready to go back to the office, man, so you feel good, work hard, put some money back into that pocket, man. Dr. Jeff Pierce, and he's a hell of a guy. You can see him with the heavies on, you can see him with Big D Energy on Tuesdays, and you'll see him with us today. Dr. Jeff Pierce, the Injury Insider. I hope we don't need him for the Lions this much this year. Last year,
Yeah,
every time we saw him, we had 2 or 3 new guys to talk about, so knock on wood, but he's still that guy.
Yeah, let's. He's going to talk a little bit about the injury to Bo Bichette for Toronto. That could impact the Tigers moving forward. That's a really big deal. His knee injury would really handicap the Blue Jays without question. Hey, shout out to our friends at Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning. I don't usually do that. It's usually Kool-Aid who does the shout outs, but they're really proud to serve Metro Detroit, and they've done it for well over 40 years. And you know what's made them successful? What's made them successful is how they treat you more than anything else. You know, customer service these days usually stinks, but not at Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning. They treat you like family. You're important to them. They offer it all. They offer heating, cooling, indoor air quality, water heaters, whole home generators, memberships, you name it, they've got it. And right now, DTE gas customers get free. That's right, I said free. Usually it's only the media that perks its ears up when you hear free, but now everybody should.
Five-finger
Free
discount.
Furnace tune-up through December 1st. Call Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning today. The number's right there, 734, you see it, 238-3839, or just use that QR code and make sure you tell them the Braylon Edwards Show sent you.
Shep, when I was getting my hair cut in college, the barbershop that I would go to in Ypsilanti.
Hey, shout out Ipsy.
Shout out Ipsy, you know, Puffer Reds, barbershop, the whole 9 yards. That's why you buy CDs, get Jordans, and get a haircut, all out of one spot. It's funny, those type of spots, we know them for other things. But they used to have a policy. If you pay $25,
bless you.
If you pay $25, you can jump the line. That tells you how long ago it was, because now that probably be 100, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'll pay it from time to time. So here's a proverbial 25. Let me jump the line and ask you a question. Ask all you a question. Why is it that Detroit fans don't like Ben Johnson? What is it about Ben Johnson that Detroit fans do not like, and they have the hate and the angst and want to beat him down? Amon-Ra talk about when they come in here, they're going to boo BTA, belt to you know what. But they don't have that same angst for Aaron Glenn. They don't have that same feelings for Aaron Glenn. If Aaron Glenn was coming in this coming Sunday with the New York Jets, got a feeling it wouldn't be boos 100%. I think it would actually be, like Ryan just alluded to, applause until the game started.
Yeah, I think it would be like Gleyber Torres playing in front of the Yankees from the other night. I think it's twofold, and then I'm anxious to get Ryan and Kool-Aid's thoughts. Yeah. I think it's twofold. First, Ben Johnson is kind of snarky.
Yeah.
And I think it didn't help him. I don't care that he went to Chicago. I really don't. I mean, you take the opportunity that is best for you and your family. Anybody who says they wouldn't do it is full of crap, okay? He turned down jobs, if you recall. I think he said no to Washington because he said, they're baseball guys, or basketball guys, which is a stupid thing to do publicly or even privately. But he turned them down. He turned down Carolina. He wanted the right opportunity. What's the right opportunity? Just because it's your first opportunity to go be a head coach doesn't mean it's the right opportunity to be a head coach. There's plenty of guys who've been out there and said, you know what? I don't think so. There's plenty of players who've done the same thing. There's people you and I know, friends of ours or acquaintances in general, who've decided to take jobs based on money, location, opportunity, right? Do I have a chance to rise in this company? So I don't blame him for taking the Chicago gig one bit. I think he lost me when some of his snarky comments left a trail back to Detroit. And I think with Aaron Glenn, because, let's face it, he played in the league for a long time. He was well respected. He talks like we do. He does. He talks like he's a banty rooster who wants the most out of his team, and he has basically said when he first got to New York, this isn't going to fly. Now, I don't like the way he handled the Aaron Rodgers thing. I think that was Bush League. But and I'm not a big guy who believes in booing ex-coaches or athletes, especially if they were here. He brought us great success. He brought a smile to our face. He gave us confidence. He did a lot of thrilling things here. I wish him, for the most part, pretty well. I just want Detroit to beat the hell out of his team on Sunday and every time they play him. So it's a long-winded answer, but I think he's a little snarky, and I think he hurt himself when he went to Chicago and said some things that we took as detrimental to the character of some of the players he coached.
Yeah, I'd say for the fans, not me, but I'm saying for the fans, it's mainly because he went to an in-division rival. I think that's the main reason. But I also think it could be a factor of we had such a good thing going with the offense the last 2 years. They're sad that it's not going to be it's uncharted territories for what the offense is going to look like now without Ben Johnson. We were so consistent with him for the last 2 years, and now that they don't have him anymore, it might be a little bit of what's our offense going to look like? We don't know what their offense is going to look like. Where going into last season, there was kind of like you kind of expected what the offense was going to do, but I think the main reason for sure is definitely he's in the division still, and it could quite possibly be he poses a threat to them as well with how good he was at the play calling last year. And I think fans do think that he didn't coach and fully prepare for the Commanders game. I think that's still dumb. Personally, I think he prepared fine, but I think that's the reason.
And I think whether he prepared or not, just seeing the performance, that matters too. The same thing is also affecting Jared Goff. And people saw Aaron Glenn and his defense overcome, all of those injuries last year to the tune of still being serviceable. And I thought that when you get into your A, your B, your C, that to me is what helps. And then obviously being within the division, that's always going to get people's blood boiling. So now you got a coach who, like Ryan said, some fans, for better or worse, they don't know how much he was really dialed in mentally. And then
what do you mean? What do you mean? Why would he be dialed in?
With the Commanders game, they thought that he had his mindset and in interviews and such that he took, where you had other coaches, though, during the same time. The assistant coaches from the Commanders, they declined their interviews during that time. They said that they had other business. So just to be fair, that juxtaposition was out there, and fans thought if your window was Super Bowl, you're getting a head coaching job.
I know it is, but do you honestly think that this is a guy who's like, you know what? I'm not studying for the test today because I've got a date with a girl.
No, it's just
come
what
on.
fans.
We've got to use some common sense.
But it's also just talking about your difference between fans and your comment. Like, that's what fans feel. 100%.
And I get the optics. We go 100% optics when we talk Matt Patricia. I want optics out of somebody who knows he's getting a head coach, whether it's fans in general or not. That's what I said at the end of it. If they succeeded, I think people would be able to stomach a little bit better. But then you also look at the way they exited. I thought that Aaron Glenn's exit, it was a little less. Ben Johnson and the fanfare around his introduction with Chicago, and this is where I've always wanted to be, and blah, blah, blah. Those things I can understand because we were just listening to Ben Johnson tell us those same things as Detroit fans. We buy in hook, line, and sinker, whether
not as a head
it's
coach.
right or not.
Not as a head coach, he wasn't, though. I mean, for his role.
My thoughts are this. This is where it starts for me as it relates to Ben Johnson. Going into the season last year, he kept bringing up the fact that he turned down those 2 head coaching jobs. Like, he brought up the fact continuously about the Commanders, and it wasn't just people asking him questions and so he happened to speak on it. This was him talking up. I saw a couple interviews where he brought it up first. When I interviewed with the Commanders, it just wasn't the right gig. Sir, it's 6 weeks of the season. Like, you're in week 6 of this current season. Why do I care about the interviews that you had in the offseason? So I didn't like that. I didn't hold it against him. I just paid attention. Sure. I did not like it at all. Yeah. Now you get to the season, you get to the end, and everybody's like, oh, man, he wasn't dialed in. He was interviewing. He was going here, and he was going there. Newsflash. That's how the NFL operates. Mm-hmm. At the end of the season, this is your window to interview with other franchises. That's the same window AG took. It's the same window Ben Johnson took. It's the same window that Dan Quinn took the year before. It's the insert coach that has a new job. Kevin O'Connell, when he was with the Rams.
There was a Commanders coach, though, who decided, I'm turning it down. And that's what made fans mad, that you lost to that team whose assistant coach said, I'm actually dialed in here. Not that Ben Johnson wasn't, but that's what a lot of people pulled at.
Right, 100%. Could care less about that. My thing was more so that he just kept bringing it up. Now you get to the end of the season, like I said, this is a part of it. And now they want to blame Ben Johnson for that game. Did Ben Johnson throw 4 interceptions and fumble the ball? Did he do that? Did he do that?
No.
And then you also want to make it you want to make it Dan Campbell's offense when things go, oh, well, it's Dan Campbell's offense anyway. Good riddance to him. Well, Dan Campbell played you in the Washington Commanders game if you feel that way. Yeah. Moving past that, because that's
the year before to the
and
NFC
the year before me,
Championship.
exactly. That doesn't bother me. That didn't bother me.
Okay.
It was when he started making little comments to what you alluded to. The trail got back to Penei Sewell. Trail got back to Jared Goff. Trail got back to Dan Campbell and some of the things and some of the little jokes and things. They were jokes, but this is called in-house. Anybody love The Godfather?
Yeah.
What does he always says? You never talk about family business outside the family. When you're on text
Fredo, don't do that.
When you're on text chains with Dan Campbell, or when you guys see each other, or you make little small talk with St. Brown and all those things, that's fun. You guys can crack all the jokes you want to. You're in Chicago, they're in Detroit, but you guys will still have some type of rapport. But you said those things publicly on purpose, and they got back to us. And then you look stupid when you bought out Matt LaFleur's, and he was like, who? I never heard of this dude.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's when you start to realize when Amon-Ra St. Brown makes that comment on the podcast, like, you ain't like that. You're acting.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
he's
fake.
acting.
You're fake. He's
getting
you're
his
fake.
He's getting this Brian Kelly on. What family? He's getting that Brian Kelly on, and I don't like fake people. So now you take it back to the comments that you kept bringing up because you wanted people to know, yeah, I'm like that. I'm turning down jobs. I'm turning down the commander's job, this, that, and third.
I'm a wanted man.
That's why they bust your ass in the playoffs. Yeah. But I don't care about him going to the Chicago Bears. They had Caleb Williams, who was a first-round quarterback, drafted after winning the Heisman Trophy 2 years prior to that. You have DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. You bring like all of these things that they had. It's
good defense.
Really good defense. In fact, Detroit knows about that defense because 2 years ago that defense beat Detroit.
Yeah.
So you have all this at your disposal, and you turn down some gigs, and now you have this opportunity. This is the opportunity you want. I don't like what happened after he left. He turned into that after he left.
I agree.
The fake guy. So stop talking about the Commanders' loss. Stop talking about the interview process. The real reason why you guys hate him is because you were scared.
Exactly.
The real reason why Lions fans don't like him is because you were scared. All that success that you had, and rightfully so.
It's interesting.
The Lions or the NFL had never seen some of the offensive things that Ben Johnson has done in the last 3 years. It's facts. It is in black and white. And you knew that he's going over to this team that has a good defense, and maybe he was the guy that could turn this Chicago Bears franchise around. That's why they hate him, because they're scared. And then they saw the game this past Sunday.
That's a great point.
They're like, oh, you know what? Well, we're going to beat him. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
They were scared that Ben Johnson was going to go there and do the same things that he done here with Detroit, have that type of success. Just give the man his credit and move on.
I never looked at it that way. Thanks. We needed that. No, I'm serious. We needed that. Here's the thing I would say when people say, oh, he went to the Bears in division. So Chicago should hate David Montgomery, right? That's number one. Green Bay should hate T.J. Lang, right?
Yeah.
Lifelongers, not necessarily. I think you give your career. I think that's a little bit different.
I see. So it's players. It's different with players.
I do. No. I don't.
So
not
Dennis
players.
Rodman. Should we hate Dennis Rodman? He went to Chicago, John Sally went to Chicago.
I hated it.
Okay. But no, you hated it. But did you boo him?
Me, yes.
Okay.
If they got another jersey, I booed them.
As long as you're consistent with it.
Some trash
Players are going to go and do what they think is best for them and their career. I don't blame them one bit. Okay? They're going to a lot of times chase the money or they're chasing the ring. Coaches are going to do the same damn thing. Period. And I hate to tell people this, for the most part, this is a broad brush, most people would do the same thing in their careers.
Now, I will say this, though. I will add this caveat, because I know some Lion fans are out there like, Braylon, you're not being 1,000% factual about that game. So here we go. Yes, I cannot believe that he started David Montgomery coming off a knee injury in which they said he may need surgery when he first got injured. And now all of a sudden he's good enough to start over Jahmyr Gibbs, the hottest player in the NFL, not named 2-6 from the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, oh, by the way, yes, the Jamison pass play, I don't get mad at it in the sense that this play would have turned the game around. Game's over. At that point, the game is over. I'm mad that they said of all the people to throw a pass, whether it was Penei Sewell, whether it was Amon-Ra St. Brown, whether it was Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, of all the guys that they tried out, the Detroit Lions players, they had a consensus. Just what moves? Don't throw the ball to stone hands, necessary roughness. Don't let J-Mo be the quarterback.
Yeah.
And what did he do? So those two things I can understand.
His first throw as a member of the National Football
And
League.
it better be his last throw. I can see those two plays as people being pissed off. Yes, I was pissed off too. Fair.
How about the fact that, and again, what Ben Johnson did here deserves applause.
Yeah.
Because
facts.
He was really good. They were really fun to watch, and I hope it stays that way. I really do. But the fact that people are saying that he was flirting with Chicago. If he doesn't flirt with them and he misses the opportunity to interview and he's back, like
he was the only person getting that job. I'm convinced that.
Okay. You can be convinced of it all. You can be convinced of it all you want. You can be convinced of it all you want. But if you're in the situation, you don't want to miss the opportunity either. And again, I'm sounding like I'm making an apology for him, and I'm not because I can't. I've already told you I want them to beat the hell out of Chicago.
I think it's fair and balanced takes. I do. Like I feel the way that I do, but I understand exactly where Bray's coming from. I understand where you're coming from, and ultimately, I think that people are just hurt because of the way it ended. If we apply what we do to Jared Goff, what have you done for me last or lately? Yeah. You have to apply that to Ben Johnson, who called probably one of his worst games of the season after the first few weeks of the season. In the playoffs where it mattered most, where everybody says Super Bowl or bust. And if he's walking out that door and Aaron Glenn is walking out that door, and you might lose players. It wasn't just him. I will take this part of the bait, Bray. Yeah. We were scared, but it wasn't because all of our eggs were in the Ben Johnson basket. The offense was a part of it that I actually was more confident about. It was a defensive side that I was wondering. I believe in Calvin Shepard, but we have a lot of injuries, and people that we think are our dogs are coming back from injury, whereas the offensive side, we got all pros walking around, talking big. Yeah, I thought that Jared Goff was going to be a guy, and I still do, who can elevate this even without Ben Johnson here.
But my issue with that is, like, he called one of his worst games. Perhaps he did. I know they scored 30 points, which some of it was at the end. So, I mean, we'll probably put an asterisk next to it. And they gave up 45. Now, a lot of that is because of the turnovers. I understand that, okay? But a lot of times when we talk about football and we talk about the ultimate team sport, and we're always saying, you got to pick me up, okay? Pitcher gives up a home run, offense pick me up. Offense is struggling to score, pitcher pick me up, get those guys out 1, 2, 3. Football's no different, okay? I don't recall anybody saying anything that when Aaron Glenn left about this. He called the worst game he's ever called as a member of the Lions coaching staff at the worst time. Why? Because he was flirting with the Jets.
I think it matters if you got your dogs or not. I really 100%
so now we're making excuses.
No, your personnel matters. Oh. We're sitting here talking about that right now with the edges.
We didn't say that against Minnesota. We had no problem with Minnesota. And Minnesota looked pretty good at times during the year with 14 wins, didn't they? We didn't say one thing about that when they gave up, 9 points to Minnesota 2 weeks prior to?
The problem is the defense for the Detroit Lions last year, they overachieved for the majority of the year. And the reason why they are allowed to overachieve is because the offense was the best offense in the NFL last year, and they were one of the best offenses in the history of the NFL statistically. That offense covered for that defense ass all season long. All season long. And then when the defense had to make a couple plays in some games, i.e. the Texans game, i.e. the Packers game when they're in Lambeau, i.e. the Vikings game, they made those plays because they didn't have to make too many of them. And then you get to the Washington Commanders game where finally you have so many people injured on the defensive side of the ball that when you get a bad offensive game by Jared Goff, when you get a couple mistakes at the offensive coordinator position by Ben Johnson, now all of a sudden you look bad on that side that's been saving the other side. And now that side's playing terrible because they've got a bunch of guys injured, and this side's playing terrible, and there's no one to save them. Yeah. There's no one to save them. That's what really happened in the Commanders game. Water finally met its level. The offense couldn't be 45 points and Jared Goff be 41 or 42 and have those crazy numbers. He had a bad game. It happens. But the defense had an even worse game. And now you mix them together, you can't win those games. Mm-hmm. Water met its level. That's what happened.
Somebody said in the chat, and rightfully so, Ben Johnson didn't lose that game. Jared Goff lost that game. And Jared Goff says that. So we're holding that game against Ben Johnson, and I at times have done it too, and I'm probably wrong, because of the one play, or two things. Two things.
Easy to blame the guy that's no longer here.
That's right. One is the Jamison Williams pass.
Horrible.
Which I think was horrible. He made the call. I could sit there and say, but the player's got to throw it away, because there's no way an offensive coordinator looks at Jamison Williams, any offensive coordinator, and says, this is going to be your first pass in the NFL. Just squeeze it in there. Yeah. I'll guarantee you they said, if it's not there, throw the damn thing away.
So I've done 3 reverse passes in the NFL. I've only thrown one of them because exactly what happened. The first time I ran one was in Cleveland. Legitimately, this is what Rob Chudzinski said. If Kellen's not there, throw the ball out of bounds or run and get down, do what you can. That's exactly what happened. Kellen was covered. I said, all right, bet. I got 2 yards on the run. Second time I ran was with the Jets. I saw Jaco down there. I took a chance. I said, I got to try something. Got it down there. Jaco didn't make the play. I'm sorry, Jaco. You know I'm going to blame you. I'm getting my quarterback on, man. The receiver, you got to make it. I was doing that just like you see all the quarterbacks do on the TV screen so they can act like it was not their fault, which it was. So that was on me. And then the other one I threw out of bounds, but the conversation all 3 times with Rob Chudzinski and with Brian Schottenheimer, if the first option, there is no, first of all, I'm not a quarterback.
Yeah.
There is no first, let me get to my second read. I didn't get paid to be a quarterback. No. There's one read and it's out of bounds. One read and out of bounds. And that's what I guarantee you Ben Johnson told J-Mo, but he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place.
I don't disagree with that. I'm not exuding any of the Ben Johnson ill will here. Yeah. It should be. But Jameson Williams knew damn well what he was supposed to do, and he still tried to squeeze it in there. That was the first play. The other play is David Montgomery, starting him like you and I have talked about this. I do wonder if that's Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell had to know that was taking place too. The head coach is responsible for some things,
He has
right?
to okay it.
He has to okay it. So we are immediately to blame. And I said that too. I'm immediate to blame Ben Johnson, and I got to remember that Dan Campbell probably had something to do with that too and thought it was the right play as well.
But if I'm going to blame Dan Campbell for anything, then I'm going to definitely make sure that Ben Johnson's getting some blame too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not one of the fans that
I don't disagree with you, Kool-Aid.
Hates Ben Johnson to the degrees that others do, but I'm definitely going to have my fun with the guy who's now in division, a guy who we had some success with, a guy who wants to tear our heads off too. He wants to win this thing, and I get it.
Of course he does. I mean, he wants to win every game.
Why shouldn't he? And so I do think that every little bit of bulletin board material that fans take, I'm not going to douse the ones that go a little bit overboard or extreme with the hate of Ben Johnson, because we're told as fans.
We brought up Ben Johnson. We did not bring up when we brought that part of it up.
Yeah.
We brought up Ben Johnson, and we didn't bring up Dan Campbell. And the reason we brought up Ben Johnson is because he left, and the reason we didn't bring up Dan Campbell is because he's still here.
And speaking of Dan Campbell and speaking of bulletin board material, look, what he did yesterday, this is called bulletin board material. You're already facing a head coach that knows you better than you know yourself. Like, you're already facing a guy in Ben Johnson that knows this team. And I'm not just talking about the offense and what you guys do. He knows your defense. He had to play against that defense every day for the better part of the last 3 years. He knows where you're weak, which is a lot of places. It's called a spade of play. He knows the players. You know how many times he's been in practice? One of the first things you do as an offensive coordinator when you're assessing your team, if I was a defensive coordinator playing against my team, like, what would I do? Oh, yeah, I would double Amon-Ra here in the slot. You know what I'm saying? I would allow J-Mo on the outside to do this. I would put two in. These are the things that you do. He's been playing this game for 3 years, and now he actually has an opportunity to play this game with the defense against the Lions at home. Watch out. Dan made that comment, and I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hell to pay. I'm not saying they're going to lose. But it's going to be hell to pay because you know he has something for the Detroit Lions. He has been working on this game plan since when he first got to Chicago. He's been working on that game plan, so it's going to be interesting.
And this isn't the first time Dan has done that. I know he did guarantee a victory effectively against the Minnesota Vikings in the past, against KOC. No. He guaranteed a victory actually against the Commanders and told the Vikings, we'll be seeing you. And that did not work out.
But not
very
publicly.
Well.
He said that
he did it in the interview before the game.
He did it. You can hear it.
On the field.
It went all super
viral.
viral.
Okay, I thought he said it to the Vikings after the last game.
Oh, that got picked up on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that
went everywhere.
All right.
And
somebody in the chat brought up a really good point. Don't forget the Gibbs fumble.
Yeah,
that gets conveniently overlooked.
Yeah.
Now,
but it gets conveniently overlooked. You can't fumble in the big moments. But it goes back to what we were initially talking about. He shouldn't have had to come in and try to figure out the rhythm of the game. He should have been the starting running back in that. I'm not forgiving the fumble. He is a grown man that gets paid. He is a grown man that we give a lot of credit to, so you got to give the criticism when you deserve it.
Yeah.
He deserved the criticism on that one, just like he did in the one against the 49ers. But it's a different rhythm when you're trying to figure it out versus already being in there, and that's where he should have been. He should have been in that backfield to start the game. And you can say, well, the Lions still had the league after that, correct? But it was what they did, what they allowed the Washington Commanders defense to realize.
Yeah,
we can stop these guys.
I get that. I would argue Jahmyr Gibbs early in the season, before David Montgomery was hurt, he was not starting every game. So I don't think that's a unique situation for him to come in. I think what overshadows his fumble is the obvious.
Yeah.
The 4 interceptions by Jared Goff. That's the primary reason.
Absolutely
I'm just saying we remember Ben Johnson screwed up because Jameson Williams threw the ball. We remember the defense getting carved up. We remember Jared Goff's interceptions, but we also have to remind everybody part of the turnover issue was Jahmyr Gibbs' fumble too.
You're right. He didn't start most of the games that season, but the last 4 games, what did he do?
Yeah,
he started. So in the last 4 weeks, he's got a rhythm, and then you take him out of one. Not only do you have a bye week, because you had the best record in the NFC, you also don't start him in that. Doc's coming up in a minute, and I just want to get to tonight's game at some point.
Okay. We can do that when we come back. And there's a Hall of Famer who called out one of his ex-teams.
Ooh. And
I want Braylon's thoughts on this. Wait till you hear about it. We'll do that after a quick timeout and a word from Black Rock and Lady Jane.
Summer Sizzle is still here with Black Rock. tell you like this, 20% off when you mention Woodward Sports. Go to any one of the 9 locations around the state, and when you mention Woodward Sports, you get 20% off the total food bill. I'm telling you, that's fire. Fire in the sense of sizzle. 755 degrees, that's what that volcanic rock temperature is when you're cooking that steak. Steak you cook right at the table. And also, they got some new things going on for you. Don't miss Tasty Tuesdays. Thursday's steak and shrimp scampi combo. That's today, ladies and gentlemen. Shrimp and scampi combo. That is today at Black Rock. Also, check out the new flavors menu with the pineapple brulee cheesecake. I'm a cheesecake guy myself.
Me too.
So this Sunday, when I go for Grandma Mary's birthday, I'm not going to tell you how old she is because it's very impolite to tell a lady's age. But we will be enjoying some of that pineapple brulee cheesecake at Black Rock. Sizzle above the rest.
You're a smart man.
Well, I'm not trying to get in trouble.
I hope she gets that lobster, if she likes lobster, because that lobster in that picture looks so good, doesn't it? It looks really good. That guy looks pretty good, too. I mean, considering how he came into Lady
Matt
Jane's.
Shepard?
And oh, no. He looks a lot better than I do. But he looks pretty good. Look, he's smiling. She's smiling. They're having a good conversation. This is Lady Jane's. This is what it's all about. It's convenient and it's open for you. You just come in, you sign in, boom, you're in a chair. You're getting your hair washed. You're getting your neck shaved. Yes, you need that. Stop with that scrawny stuff in the back. It's disgusting. And then you get a nice cut. You're out the door in really quick fashion. You have a nice conversation with a young lady in the chair, and it is that simple at Lady Jane's. They are open 7 days a week, 10 till 8. Find a location near you. They are seemingly everywhere in the state of Michigan because it's wicked awesome.
The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. Injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shaq Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Goes on inside the game.
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Lamar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Let's go with buddies.
No, I don't. But, boy, I've never seen anybody eat a salad as fast as Braylon Edwards. It's really good. He has one every single day while I'm eating Buddy's Pizza, and I eat Buddy's Pizza because I absolutely love it. I mean,
You
see
can
that
salads at
picture
Buddy's,
right there?
too.
That is so damn good looking, and I mean that. Usually guys will say that about women. I say that about Buddy's Pizza. That is so good looking. Yes. They created the category of original Detroit-style pizza,
It's
and they
the
did that back in
sundress of
1946. 22 different locations throughout the state of Michigan, so there's going to be something near you. Remember, this is the original. This is the GOAT. Save 10% of your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's 10, the number 10, MEAL, M-E-A-L. Go find a location near you, buddiespizza.com.
And tell them about that
Massage chair. Talk
house,
about it,
Mr.
Ryan.
Trying to get that stat for Shep. Yeah, massage chair.
It's an
house.
unbelievable statistic. It's incredible.
Looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Check out Massage Chair
am.
House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc. Got a chance to meet him before. He's a great guy. Creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan the QR code. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
We're going to get a little jar. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get a little jar. And every time somebody's late for a read, we're going to put $1 in the jar. And at the end of the football season, we're going to take that pot and we're going to take ourselves out for a nice dinner. Nice night on the town. Just know this coming.
That's fine by me. Sometimes I might be late on purpose for something like that, to be honest with you.
Buddies on your mind, huh?
Hey, Tigers are going to finish up the series against the Yankees real quick tonight. They have kicked their ass the last 2 nights. I don't know if people saw this.
It's a record.
But for the first time in Yankees history, they have lost back-to-back home games by 10 runs or more to the same team.
First time ever in either stadium.
That's crazy.
Which means the history of the Yanks.
12-2 in the first game, late surge. 11-1 last night, late surge. And what's interesting
19-1
that Detroit is 4-1 against the Yankees this year, okay? And they have outscored them by a ton. And they have been very successful in that department against Boston, Houston, and the Yankees combined. All 3 of those teams could easily be a first-round, or one of those 3 teams could easily be a first-round matchup. So you feel pretty good.
If the Tigers play the rest of the year like they did in the 7th inning last night and the night before, we're in for a treat in October. 19-1, the Tigers outscored the Yankees in the last 2 games just in the 7th inning. Let that resonate. 19-1 in just the 7th inning last 2 games. That's nuts.
Against a Yankees team that had been playing really well.
80 wins.
Okay. And had won 7 of its last 10. Had been playing really well.
Bats were hot.
And, yes, and known for its power. When Detroit is the team, they had 1 home run last night. The Yankees did. Detroit had 3. Carpenter hit 1. Green hit 1. Colt Keith with his first ever pinch hit home run. So Detroit has outscored them this year 37-9.
What I like about that, I'm gonna tell you, like, you don't take stock in these games. I get it. What I take stock in is, I guess it won't matter. If we play the Yankees in the postseason, I love what that says. 1, like you said, they're 4-1. 2, they can hit in that ballpark. Smaller park. That's why Cody Bellinger's having the year he's having. But that plays well. Tigers are showing you we don't mind going to New York. We don't mind this crowd. We don't mind what this is. We can go there and we can get it done. I like that. Because this could be a potential matchup.
And it could be a matchup against Boston or Houston, as I mentioned. They still have Boston at the end of the year at Fenway Park, which should actually play to Detroit's strengths. But Detroit so far this year against the Yankees, against the Astros, and against the Red Sox have combined 11-4 against those three teams. They have outscored them 101 to 45. 101 to 45. There you go. Now that turns heads.
That stat is worth it.
That is absolutely worth it. And I think what needs to be emphasized, especially the first two games of this series, like Jack Flaherty was really good last night.
Yeah.
Okay. It's crazy how he can struggle against the White Sox, struggle against the Royals, and pitch lights out against Houston and lights out against the Yankees.
Just call him Cedar Point.
I don't know what the hell that means. All right, I'm just telling you, it's a weird phenomenon. But AJ Hinch's ability to manage a game, he's just smarter and better than everybody else. He just is. It doesn't mean they're going to win the championship. It's just how he can handle his lineup. Like the top of the lineup, he's got Jahmai Jones. Guess what? He's daring Aaron Boone once Carlos Rodon is out. I dare you to go to a righty.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because I got Gleyber Torres right behind him.
Yeah.
And Aaron Boone's going to go, I want to go out. Give me the righty. Carey, come on in.
Yeah.
Carpenter with a bomb. Cole Keith, come on in.
Yeah.
Cole Keith
Cole
with a
Keith
bomb.
with a bomb.
Okay? So he's got it set up like that. And then his bullpen, the way he uses his guys, and they're going to be fresh today.
Bullpen game tonight, right?
It has to be because Tyler Holton's starting. Right.
Right.
But a lot of the back-end guys are there. Remember, I was a little distraught because Kyle Finnegan is on the IL.
Yeah.
And he's been their best reliever since he's come to town, and they're still getting it done. Now, is it exactly how you'd like it to be? I'm not going to read too much into just these past two games because, remember, the previous two series weren't great.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens when Miami comes to town, but I would expect them to open up a proverbial can of whip ass on Miami as well.
Yeah, I think Detroit Tigers fans need to be much more patient than the Detroit Lions fans in that regard. Yeah, Tigers are going to win the division. The Tigers are going to get in that postseason. It seems like they're finding their level. You know, playing this series against the Yankees, I love it.
Yeah.
I love to see it. Love to see what Casey Myers looked like on the mound. That was a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then yesterday, Jack Flaherty. That's the biggest thing. Do you have 2 and 3 in the postseason? Do you have a 2 and a 3 in the postseason? Because you damn sure got a 1. Right. So seeing pitching like that, and this is a team whose bats were hot. The Yankees have a lot of hitters on that team. They have a lot of offense. Well, Tigers found a way to kind of nullify that point. So I like it. I like what I saw.
I think the Yankees are in trouble.
Yeah.
I've said this
They always
before.
are, aren't they?
Well, look, I think Aaron Boone does a good job. I don't think he's A.J. Hinch by any stretch. I don't think he's Dave Roberts by any stretch. I don't think he's Bruce Bochy.
He has all the talent and all the money since he's been there.
Well, I don't know how much talent he truly has, but, I mean, they're known to hit home runs.
Yeah.
They're not very good defensively. They're not very good on the base paths. They throw a lot of wild pitches. Buck Martinez said it. I don't want to steal all his thunder, but Buck Martinez said it during the Toronto broadcast. Yes, I'm a geek. And he basically called them out. And Toronto had a win last night, 4-3. He's like, the Yankees are getting pummeled by Detroit. They're not that good of a baseball team because they don't do a lot of the little things. The things that we overlook, the things that oftentimes aren't in the numbers, is something Detroit does seemingly very well. There's not a lot of balls in the dirt. There's not a lot of wild pitches. There's not a lot of outs being made on the bases. They do a lot of the little things. They hit the cutoff man. They throw to the right base. I know it's boring. It's almost like, Braylon shooting for par all the time. I'm just going to hit the big part of the green, and I'm going to two-putt from there. That's who they are, and that's a good thing to be when you're playing a team like New York.
Yeah, Yankees seem like a team that just relies on the phenomenal. They rely on the star players more than they rely on cohesion and doing things the right way and the extra effort and building a cohesion together. Like, it seems like, hey, if Aaron Judge isn't getting you 2 home runs, if Juan Soto, who's no longer there, I know, but like, if he's not hitting bombs back, and if Giancarlo Stanton, who's finally back, if he's not hitting home runs, if Max Fried isn't on the mound striking out 10, like, you're literally looking for your all-stars to do all-star things, and you're not doing the small things in the middle.
Well, I really thought Detroit might be in a little bit of a challenging situation because of Carlos Rodon last night.
Yeah.
And that was not the situation. Anyway,
he looked like the Rodon from the playoffs.
Yeah, the wrap-up tonight against Tyler Holton versus Man I Don't Know. Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, our favorite doctor is in the house, too.
Favorite doctor. All right. Dr. Jeffrey Pierce is ready to roll, and he's on location. He's not in the house, but he is on location. Doc, how are you today?
Guys,
We got the.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
There he
yeah,
is.
we got
There
you,
he
Doc.
is. What are you looking into the sun for crying out loud?
Are you a
Shout out to
Joshua
the Doc.
tree? What's going on out there? You Joshua tree? Little
No, I'm in
ayahuasca
Utah.
retreat. Ayahuasca.
We'll talk about why you know that a little bit later. We should probably do a show on that, but
Yeah,
no,
tell
I'm
me
at
about
Sundance. I'm Sundance, Utah.
Okay.
What are you doing there? Why are you there? It's beautiful, huh?
Don't convert religion while you're out there, brother.
No, we're trying to do comparisons, and we're still number one, so we won't
Okay.
we won't get real thick there.
All right.
But no,
I like
I'm having a hard time with reception, so I'm a little
shocking.
I'm outside here, so it's all good. But check out the view. I mean, the views. This is Robert Redford land here, and it's beautiful. But no, I'm here for a conference,
Officer
and we're
and the
kicking
gentleman.
off. Well, a little bit more than that, but Sundance, all those things. Anyhow, it's beautiful. It's beautiful there. So, what do you guys want to get into
Well,
today?
we
I know
miss you.
Arnold
That's for
came
sure.
out-
We miss you. That's for sure, for certain. And we want some insight. Terrion Arnold did practice today, but if you recall, he left the second half or only played the first half of the Lions-Packers game because of a groin issue. So what can you update Lions fans on as far as Terrion Arnold is concerned, and how sensitive / tender / concerned should we be regarding what could be a reoccurring problem with him?
Well, that's the best part is what you said at the end. That's the most concerning. Arnold's on, everybody saw the interview with him where he's basically, I'm playing through it. It's a nagging injury that's going to be there for a while. I'm going to learn how to play with it. So again, I mean, for a corner to play, Braylon and I've talked a lot of times about playing in, if you got 5 gears and you stay in second and third to get by and don't re-injure, that's fine. The problem is he's the corner. So he's being directed by those receivers, and those receivers, all they do is live in 4th and 5th gear. So that's where my real concern is he going to be able to keep up? Is he going to be smart enough? Is he going to hit him harder off the line to slow him down? You're going to see a different style of play because that groin is definitely it's a very crucial part of playing his position. And it can be, I don't know if we have the anatomy, but I mean, it's that anatomy right, in your privates there, in the inside of your leg, that groin. So it's anywhere from to an inguinal area to a minor sports hernia area. All that stuff comes together. And if you start weakening that area, and granted, I trust the medical team there and him, but Arnold wants to play. So will he be at risk for further injury? 100%. Can he play in 4th and 5th gear against those receivers? I'm not overly confident that he will be, because I mean he's going up against a team with an offensive coach that knows how he plays and knows where his weakness is. So I'm concerned. I want him to play. He's a great guy in the locker room, great guy in the field, but if he can't keep up, that's an issue.
Doc,
There's your anatomy.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and I appreciate the anatomy, man. Shout out to Doc for sending these clips in and Kool-Aid getting it going as we're rocking and rolling on the interview. You bring up a great point. Look, I had a growing industry when I had a growing nag when I first got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. They wrap it with the hand, they wrap it with the ace bandages on the inside where it's at, then pull it around the waist, and then put the tape on there, and you get the feel of, okay, I don't have this gear today, but I may have a little bit of that. You bring up a great point. They're going against Rome Odunze as well as DJ Moore. Those guys are physical, they're fast receivers, and they love to work the line of scrimmage. This is going to be a long season. We know what happened with the DBs last year. They had some growing injuries, whether it was Ennis Rakestraw, whether it was Terrion Arnold. Also had some hamstring deals as well. This is a long season, and you're going to need Terrion Arnold. You're going to need to have the guy that we said is going to make an improvement in year 2 for these Detroit Lions. Would you just sit him? Would you just sit him this game so that he's more important for the 3rd game against the Baltimore Ravens, the 4th game against the Chiefs or the Cleveland Browns? Would you just sit him to allow him some time to really get back, really rest that groin area? Because this is a long season, and we don't need this to be a thing week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd rather be a thing week 1, and then we shut it down until week 3.
Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those where I tell you, he wants to mentally play. We'll watch him on the opportunity, but also we're watching him differently. You're looking at his right versus left, his first step. What's he doing in catch-up? Does he have that speed to catch him? Does he have being able to go side to side? Is he equal or is he favoring it? Is he going to lead to other injuries from it because he's babying that? That's what we look at. If he's being honest, which he should be, he's a professional, that if he can hold up, I mean, not to bring it up, the Packers took advantage of him in that first quarter. I mean, like he says, I'm not a man that makes an excuse of my groin. He's got to be real for the best of the team. So if he does go out there, I'm sure the medical team's going to watch how he's moving, how he's accelerating, what's going on. Yeah, he's going to be wrapped. He's going to have some secret sauce to get out there. But again, can he keep up with a guy that knows he's weak, and a head coach that knows he's weak, and go after him? If he can't be strong enough on the line to slow him down in open field, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up. I mean, these guys are hard to keep up when he's 100%. I mean, they're good receivers. So I think it's going to play a role. I'm not confident I will be the first to say if he has a great game on Sunday, I'll be the first guy to say that he worked through it and fought hard and he gritted it out like Detroit Lions like to do.
Let's shift gears to a different sport. The Tigers are a game up on the Toronto Blue Jays for best record in the American League, and Toronto had just seen one of their best players go on the injured list, Bo Bichette, with a left knee sprain. It was announced earlier this week that he is on the shelf, the 15-day or the 10-day IL, retroactive Sunday, which tells you it may not be that bad, but considering the position he plays and the type of player that he is, where he tries to take extra bases and he's an aggressive swinger, what does a left knee sprain do to a guy who plays in his style?
So there's two thoughts here. One, they're one game out, like you said, but I think they're pretty much guaranteed a wild card. Losing him right now, maybe they're looking ahead for the playoffs. We want 100% for the playoffs. That knee sprain, they're calling it a sprain. I mean, there's four different grades of knee sprains. I think we have the anatomy on that too, but I think it's a simple injury. It was a contact injury. It didn't look like his knee flung around. It looked like full contact right on the knee. So does he have a little bruising that's going to cause the discomfort and a little ligament strain, which typically will heal within 5 to 7 days? If they want to do it the 15-day, then that was a coaching player decision to say, let's get the maximum right now. Let's go for the long run in the playoffs. So I think it was a playoff decision. I think they're confident they can get there without him. Is that too lofty, or was he just not able to be productive? I mean, he's the shortstop there. It's an integral part of the team, and he's an energy bunny out there.
Yeah.
So he brings a lot. And when you're seeing different clips of the knee. I know we have it up on the screen there. You're looking at a simple strain, grade 1, which is just a stretching, versus grade 2, where you have a little micro tearing, and then grade 3, where you're more concerned. So he's probably in between that grade 1, grade 2, because grade 3, we would have heard other stuff unless they're going to, we didn't hear about the MRI reports or anything like that. It is Toronto, so I don't know how much we care. I mean, we control our own destiny, so we're not really worried about anybody below us at this point. But I think with this, I think he's between that 1 and 2. They're playing it conservative, and I think they're confident they're going to get in the playoffs, and they want a guy who's 100% when they start.
Speaking of controlling your own destiny, right now the San Francisco 49ers, they control their own destiny in the NFC West, but their quarterback isn't doing too hot. He has a shoulder as well as a toe. Kyle Shanahan came out and said, look, we are not sure that he's going to play in this game. In fact, they're leaning to the fact that he probably will miss this game. Mac Jones would be your quarterback for this game, at least as of now. How bad does the shoulder and the toe have to be if week 2, a team like that with the 49ers and Brock Purdy, $50+ million man, for them to sit him potentially, how bad does he have to be hurt, and what does that look like for the 49ers?
And it's his non-throwing shoulder, Doc. It's his left shoulder and the toe,
yeah.
Right.
I think you're probably more involved with the toe. Turf toe, it baffles our medical community. Huh?
The sesamoid bone.
Sesamoid bone. So that's not an important bone, but it's the generic term we'll throw as turf toe. It's still a mystery to the medical community. We have not been able to get a great handle on it. I'll admit to it, and probably some of the doctors out there, if they are listening, are going to argue with me. But it just seems like that ongoing nagging injury that you're really dependent on the player to feel, because when he's positioning, he has to push off. He creates some power from that. That's more of the issue. His left arm, that's okay. That's an early season decision. It's not a throwing arm. I guarantee you, if we're in the hunt of the playoffs at the end of the season, he'd probably be playing right now. He'd get a little bit more secret sauce. They probably want to give their backup quarterback some experience right now. Let him go. I don't even know I forget who they're playing this week.
Saints.
I know
they got the New Orleans Saints and Spencer Rattler.
That doesn't concern anybody.
That Wi-Fi is a little bit concerning. A little bit about the turf toe is like a bone and it splits in half. So I had a turf toe deal my senior year at University of Michigan during training camp, and they set me down a couple days, maybe 2-3 days, and it was basically how bad the bone cracks, like where that turf toe is. I know Doc's can come back here and correct me, but it's how bad that bone cracks can depend on what you can do and what you can do. My level wasn't cracked as much. It hurt like hell, but it wasn't like Deion's level where his turf toe essentially got him out of the NFL. It's that crack. How big is the crack and what can you tolerate? I could tolerate a lot in that sense, but the more that thing opens up, I think the more you have to sit down or even retire in the case of Deion for a while, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, there's little orthotics and things we can do to cushion it. There's injections that we used to do back in the day. Some of the biologics have proven to be very helpful, but again, they need time to work. It's not a 4 or 5 day fix. Could you do a certain type of injection to get him pain-free for 4 hours of the day? Yeah, but that causes more damage. So again, I think it's a conservative decision by San Francisco. We want to have him healthy. These are nagging injuries that can last a long time. So I think they just want to be a little bit more conservative at this point. I think he'll be fine. I think 2 or 4 weeks or 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks. Does anybody know how?
They're saying 2 to 5. They're saying 2 to 5
Yeah,
right
2
now
to
for
5.
Purdy. Yeah. Before we let you go, you were on the field with the BYU team, were you not, this week?
Yeah.
Were you with the dance team?
The doctor, I'm out.
That's what I go to see.
What you're talking about is with this. They actually weren't practicing at the time. I was on the football field, and the Samoans were out there in strength.
Doing the hockey.
These guys are large up close. They're very large up close. And I'm actually out here with Dr. Gross, one of our docs out here. We're at a conference, and this was a play that I thought was designed to come to me. As we watch it, we're right on the practice field. I didn't know the play was to me.
Hey, Doc, I'm gonna tell you a secret.
The ball landed at my feet.
Doc, I'm gonna tell you a secret. That
What's
play
that?
wasn't designed for you. It was designed to hit you. The quarterback just didn't get the ball there. They were trying to hit you. The quarterback just didn't have enough mustard on that arm.
Okay,
Crack it up.
The way they said it, it's like,
Look at that.
Zach,
See,
you weren't
look.
ready.
Yeah, he tried to hit you. He tried to hit you. He tried to hit you. The receiver gave
I'm like, what's going on here?
a little bit of an effort to fake you out. That was intentional. I'm glad you're okay. Glad you made it out
So
safe.
that is.
Yeah, they tried to
felt
hit
that
you.
That was a loving touch, right?
Yeah,
that was
100.
giving the love out to the doc. But no, yeah, we're having fun out here. It's beautiful. We're expanding our business, obviously, out here to Utah and our philosophy. And, I'm going to be a guest speaker out here. So I'm coming in Sundance in November. So they asked me to come out to see what the conference was about, which I appreciate the love from the sports medicine guys out here. And it doesn't suck to be here right now. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, well, congratulations on expanding that business out there. They're lucky to have you. Safe travels back home when you do come home. Thanks for, as always, joining us here on the Braylon Edwards Show on a Thursday afternoon, buddy.
If you need an ambassador, you know what I'm saying, just let me know because I can travel. I do travel.
Oh, absolutely, they'd take you. Come on. Hey, before we get to the mailbag, I wanted to ask you this about wide receiver. Malik Neighbors had a little bit of an issue, it seemed like, with Brian Dable.
Shocking.
We've seen some blow-ups on the sidelines with coaches and players and with players and players. How quickly, I think people make a lot of that because there's so many cameras covering games today and so many people with their cameras on their phones and recording things. I've always said guys get over that pretty quick. Players get over that pretty quick. Yeah. What do you think the shelf life of something like that might be?
It's a different day and age now where head coaches and players are closer in age than when I played. So, like, you're almost, when Jared Goff was with Sean McVay or even Ben Johnson, they're around the same age. They're literally the same age. They're watching the same things. Their wife are connected. So you can have those arguments, and it sucks that, you're so privy to the video and you see all the angles and you can read the words and then they can type up the transcripts. It sucks, but guys are tapped in. Guys are cool now. That stuff happens and you forget about it. But guys like Brian Dable, he's a Richard. He's a Richard. And he is a guy, you saw what he did to Daniel Jones in the instance on that sideline, that Monday night game where he berated him after he missed the 2-point conversion or missed the touchdown, slammed the surface and all those type of things. Guys don't like Brian Dable. He was my offensive coordinator when I was in Cleveland. This is the year that I got traded. Thank God. And I'm talking about G-O-D. Thank God for getting me out of there. But he's a guy that people don't like. He's a guy that rubs people the wrong way. He's a guy that wants to be, this is my offense. This is my success. He's a guy that will read you a certain way. He came up under Belichick, and he's another one of those guys that believe I'm Bill Belichick. I'm the ghost of Bill Belichick, in which he's not. So, Malik Neighbors and Brian Dable, that's a situation you want to monitor.
Okay.
You want to monitor that one closely because he's already on the hot seat this year. He's already on the hot seat.
It's interesting because a couple of years ago he was coach of the year.
Yeah.
I
guess get rid of coach of the years though.
Yeah, you're right. I've always wondered how do front office personnel not understand, talk to ex-coaches, talk to ex-players, and recognize if he's Richard, how that's going to play in a locker room. I just don't get that.
Well, that's because two things. One, he coached under Bill Belichick, and so they just give him that too.
Yeah, but that tree sucks.
Yeah, okay, but the people in the front office suck. So if you want to have that conversation, they don't know what they're doing. A lot of times it's nepotism, which I'm not always against, but a lot of times it's nepotism. A lot of times it's where you are. A lot of times it's the good old boy circuit. Mm-hmm. And you hire these individuals that don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, and we know for a fact that Shane, however you pronounce it, Joe Shane doesn't know what he's doing. You've seen it in person on Hard Knocks, live and in color. He doesn't know what he's doing, so they don't know the guys to hire. They don't know the guys that are not going to work, the guys that can't keep a locker room. You hire guys that has a resume. His resume was a great one. He coached under Belichick. He went to the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen figured it out when Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator. You have to give him that credit, and he did win that playoff game. It's against the Vikings, and the Vikings never win the playoff. But yet and still, he got a playoff win. But he's already on hot ice. He was, thin ice, and he was on the hot seat.
Okay, before we get to the mailbag.
There's a game tonight.
Yeah, I had teased a couple of things. There's so much you want to get to. Jared Allen, who is now a Hall of Famer, and rightfully so, said recently about one of his ex-teams, because he was a Viking and a Chief in opposite order, he said, people don't fear them any longer. Do you believe that? Do you think teams did fear Kansas City? Do you think no longer do they fear them? And what were the teams or players you feared?
So the first question is, no, they don't fear him anymore. You saw what happened in the Super Bowl? They got destroyed. I don't care how good a team is. I've never seen a Super Bowl team on the opposite side look like that, including the Denver Broncos, including the Giants. They just looked abysmal considering who they were, considering what they had done. You can tell they were a little beat up. They've been rocking and rolling for 8 years. But, yeah, I don't think teams fear him anymore. They're not the same team. They don't have the same players. They don't have that same fear. 15 is still to be feared.
Yeah.
What he did last week was magic. He was typical Patrick Mahomes magic. By the way, he's on my fantasy bench. If you need a quarterback, you can have him. I need a receiver. I need a running back. We'll figure that out. But he's still feared. But they don't have the guys on defense. They don't have Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu and the DB room that they had 2 years. But we're trying to figure out, do we want to get one of their DBs or do it? They don't have that. They don't have that defensive line. They don't have Joe Tooney in the offensive line that they had, where Patrick could do those things and have that success. So they're now what's the word I'm looking for? They're a newer version of themselves, a shell. Yeah, right now, they don't have any wide receivers. Who's your stud wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs? Because Xavier Worthy's hurt. Yeah. Rashee Rice is on a suspension. Right. The running back field, I think it finally is caught up to him. Travis Kelce's older. It's finally caught up to him. Isaiah Pacheco's not a number one back.
No.
He, as much as I love him because he runs hard, he will give you everything he has, and whenever you give him the ball, he tries to get whatever he can. He can catch and run. He's not a number one back. They have been running him out here as a number one back
for a reason. Yeah.
So you have that going on in your backfield. You don't have any wide receivers, and then your defense doesn't look like it was when people were actually the defense was better than the offense the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They don't have that anymore. Right now, like, I would love to play the Chiefs if I was a team. I'm like, yeah, sign me up for that matchup.
Well, they're going to host the Eagles this weekend, which will be probably the marquee.
Oh, another must-win game.
Yeah, but that's going to be a marquee matchup, and I'm not saying it's a must-win, but that's interesting considering Kansas City's 0-1.
Yeah,
Philadelphia's as good as they are, and we've seen it. And if Kansas City loses, they could be 0-2, obviously, and then the percentages really go down on your chances to make the playoffs based on past performances from 1990. Only 12% and change make the playoffs for teams that started 0-2. The teams that play tonight.
Who do you think is going to win, and who do you want to win?
For Green Bay and Washington?
Correct.
Well, I think Green Bay is going to win. Because I was impressed with them, even though I do like Washington. It'll be very interesting if Green Bay wins, and depending on how they win, how Lions fans will react.
Yeah.
Because if they beat up Washington like they beat up Detroit, and I mean in the trenches more than anything else, then I think Lions fans might be a little bit more understanding of why Detroit may have stumbled.
Yeah.
If they don't, and it's close, then Detroit's going to say, look at how far away we are from 2 teams that are going to contend for an NFC title.
What's going to happen is Green Bay is going to win 31-20. And what I want to happen is Green Bay to win 45-20. Because I want Lions fans to realize how good this Green Bay team is. Because right now, Lions fans aren't giving Green Bay credit. What they're doing is saying, well, the offensive line is going to take some time, and it was game 1, and you got to get into your footing. And you're going to make a bunch of excuses and not give that Green Bay team that credit. That Green Bay team is only going to get better. Like, they're only going to get better, especially on defense. For what you say about Micah Parsons, he is the one that can elevate your defense. Like, he had to be the whole guy doing everything in Dallas. He ain't got to do that in Green Bay. Quay Walker is a monster. Rashawn Gary is a monster. They got some players. They don't even have their whole defensive line. Right. They're welcoming back the player this week and a player in the following week. I want that team to look like I know they are. That team is damn good. We knew they were going to be good coming into the season, and then they added another player that's a force multiplier. I want them to look like that so people can say, holy bleep, this is going to get interesting.
In fairness to my partner here, Braylon Edwards, he picked Green Bay to win the division. And he said it before the preseason. He told me, he's like, I think Green Bay's the best team in the division. I didn't believe him. And that was before they acquired Micah Parsons. With the Packers, I think they're really good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I do. I think they're really good. I think they are Detroit's biggest challenger. It'll be interesting to see what the pushback may be, depending on how they play tonight, and then the panic button may change. Like everybody who did that schedule, win, loss on Green Bay plays out like they have been, then everybody's going to change that pick at home against Green Bay to an L, considering how good they've been. I'm not a big Quay Walker guy. I mean, I think he makes some stupid plays. He's talented as all get out. I think Detroit's defense is just as talented, quite honestly. I really do.
He'll get better because he's still operating a little bit like he did in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of idiotic stuff in Dallas. Yeah. But, we shall see. It's going to be interesting, though.
It's going to be a fun game tonight, both on a short week, and that's why I think Detroit should be beating Chicago because they're on a short work week. All right, let's get to the mailbag before we get out of here on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys, I like this. This was spirited. It was passionate.
Energy.
People brought it today, man, including the chat family as well. I see one here, mailbag from Michael Wary. He says, will this be a close game Sunday in terms of the Bears and the Lions?
I think it's always a close game. Like, even when they both suck, like, it's just one of those games that's close. I mean, the Bears haven't been good the last couple of years, and they legit – this is the funny thing. For what we talk about Eberflus and the embarrassment that Eberflus was in that game, it was here in Detroit, not knowing what to do. They had a chance to win that game. Like, they had a chance to win that game.
They should have won
They should. It's no way they should have lost that game. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. That's typically what the Bears and the Lions, just like the Vikings and the Lions, just like the Packers and the Lions, it's just one of those divisions where games usually are close.
Yeah, you're right, especially in division. If you look at week 1 and you want to look at close games,
well, I guess Packers,
Cowboys and Eagles were close. Chargers and Chiefs were close. Bucks and Falcons were close. The Raiders and Patriots was a one-score game.
49ers Seahawks.
Okay. 49ers Seahawks. Cardinals and Saints was a one-score game. This is the beauty of football. The Steelers Jets game was close. There were just a handful of blowouts, not even a handful. The blowouts, and I know it's a little deceiving with Detroit and Green Bay. The blowouts were, and the Bills had to come back, but it was obviously a close game, 41-40. There's really only 2 blowouts, folks. Those blowouts would be Washington over the Giants and the Colts over the Dolphins. Everything else is within one score. So I would expect it to be a close game, like most games.
Lions wasn't a blowout.
Well, physically they were. Kelvin Shepard brought up an interesting point today. He said, look, you take away their 3 big plays of that totaled 65 yards. You can't do that. And it's funny we all say that, but you can't do it. They're held to 129 yards.
But what do you mean? This is what I don't like about that comment. What do you mean if you took away that play? Because on the deep ball, everything lined up perfect. The pass pro was set up nicely. They blocked the defensive rush, which was none. Jordan Love dropped back and threw a pass. wasn't a dime, but threw a good enough pass to get caught. Why you want to take that play back?
Yeah,
they drew the play up just like they wanted to, and they hit it and executed just like they wanted to. You can't take that play back.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's silly that everybody says that. I think, to your point, Detroit scores with 55 seconds left, the Tesla catch. Yeah, it probably was a blowout. Yeah. From a score-wise, physical-wise, they were definitely the more dominant team.
It felt like the Buffalo and Detroit game last year. It's like the score says one thing, but we know what it was.
Well said. Yeah. So we'll say 3 games, but I still think it'll be relatively close this week against Chicago. Thanks for joining us here on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports. Stay with us every single day, 2 till 4. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow back here on Woodward Sports.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Lamar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.